We're rolling. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Been a
Welcome
while.
back.
Yeah, we've both been busy, bouncing around, having a good time, recharging for the new year to come. Tons,
2021.
yeah.
Big
Hopefully,
deposits.
hopefully it'll be a little bit better than 2020. Tons to fucking talk about. Jack
Tons.
Ma's fucking he's missing. He's off. Nobody knows where he's at. 9 weeks or whatever it's been.
Possibly the
Um,
gulag.
he might be, just might be. Um, Market thoughts. What we think in terms of the market here going forward in 2021. Michael Burry, you might know him from The Big Short. He had a bunch of. I mean, he's always putting interesting stuff out. But one tweet in particular that I want to talk about, he put out the tweet, took it back, and kind of hinted his hand at a big play he may have on the docket. So definitely wanted to get into that. Yesterday was the finale of the runoff election, so we got possible blue wave incoming. Um,
Looks that way.
yeah, I mean, a lot of I would say a lot of the viewership would be to the right side, but there's definitely some left. So I think it's definitely a lot to talk about on both sides. So we'll get into that a little bit, and then maybe I got a question about oil maybe and some things like that. So I guess we'll jump right into it with Jack Ma because this might be the most interesting of them all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
honestly.
So 9 weeks ago he gave a speech, and I got some quotes. First off, he started the speech by saying this may be quote immature, inaccurate, or even laughable, and then described himself as a somewhat retired man uh, who is just expressing his opinions or viewpoints or something like that. And then he went into this whole diatribe about the Chinese banking system and the state-run banks and how the majority of banks are state-run, at least the big banks, and called the what did he say? He called the regulators pawn shop financial regulators and the Chinese banking system the old people's club. Shortly after that, he was uh, called in. The Ant Group's IPO was called off, and he was called into Chinese government offices or whatever. And 9 weeks later, nobody's seen or heard from him. He just missed the finale of his TV show that he's a judge on. So Jack Ma's missing.
Yeah, it's interesting. Did you see a few days ago, possibly, I think it was like a week, no, maybe not a week ago, a few days ago though. He was his Bloomberg terminal was active.
Yeah, I did see that.
So I don't know. So there's that possibility that he just went underground. He dipped. But also I was thinking too, well, what if there was like 10 Chinese secret police going through his office and they were on his Bloomberg going through his trades and that's why it was active? I
Well,
don't know.
that's yeah. I mean,
You
I think
know?
what it comes down to is there's really three possibilities. I mean, he's in hiding,
Yeah,
he's
definitely a
dead,
possibility. Definitely another
or
possibility.
he's detained. And it, I don't really think
It's
there's
China. Any of those
yeah.
three are definitely possible.
Well, I think those are the only three. I don't think he's just out roaming around or anything of that nature. I
No.
think, and it's interesting, a guy that's that big, you'd think before he's going to make some statements, he'd call his attorney. Maybe he'd call the attorney, but I, he had to know that
That it was
I'm
coming
going to
if
say
he was
this,
to
and then
say
I got
that.
to get somewhere. I got to go somewhere immediately, or it's gonna be bad. And there was reports when the Ant Group was called off, and I don't know. These were right around the same time, probably in the same week, but I don't know if it was one before the other or one after the other. But he was called into the government headquarters there, or asked to come and meet with some other chief executives from Ant Group. So no reports as to whether or not he ever went or showed up to that. But
Yeah.
did he just take off and dip before he went there? They haven't seen or heard from him. I mean, they're not going to tell anybody whether or not they've seen or heard from him either. But uh, like you said, it could very well just be somebody on the account.
This is why don't play with China.
Yeah.
Right there. I mean, the man from the inside called it
There's
fake
also very
himself.
much there's also very much a possibility that he walked off the stage and there was three or four guys standing there and said, "Jack, why don't you come with us? We got somebody who wants to talk to you quick.
Yeah, put him in the
And
car, and that was that.
and they
Like
walked right out. Yeah,
now he's sitting in some re-education camp somewhere.
yeah.
Maybe. Which you know what? I mean, did you see in China recently? They just hedge fund, not a hedge fund, a portfolio
Death
manager.
penalty to a white
Yeah,
collar criminal.
yeah. He was taking bribes or something, and you know what? That would be crazy if we did something like that here, man. People would be getting the death
Absolutely
penalty.
incredible. Death penalty for taking bribes.
It's very interesting, honestly, but at the same
Yeah,
time, it's like, damn, that's China. It's a different ball game. You can't be running
yeah,
your mouth over there.
yeah.
Can't talk. Can't. You got to watch what you say.
Literally. I mean, criticize the banking system. That's it. And he's now missing. And it's interesting. You said another one. You know, the hedge fund manager or it was a hedge fund manager, right?
Yeah, it was something. It was some money manager.
Some money manager. Uh, yeah, taking bribes, and he's literally sentenced to death. Not X amount of years in prison, and because
Yeah.
he's 70 years old or whatever it may be, he's going to die in there. Like literally, he's just going to be executed.
Bernie
That's
Madoff and
by
Jordan
death.
Belfort would have got the axe.
Oh,
No doubt.
easily. Yeah,
No doubt. It's crazy. It's honestly,
yeah,
it's wild. And that's where people want to put their money. It's crazy. Crazy.
yeah. I think we're both on the
Sketches
same
me out.
page that money stays out of China. There's no
Yeah. It's too
funding.
sketchy. It's too sketchy. And did you see how we started delisting those companies? I mean, we stopped last night. I don't know what happened to
Mhm.
it, but we stopped delisting them. But I mean, if you do look at companies by market cap, like the top 10, there is like 4 Chinese companies on there. It is pretty wild.
Yeah, but
That has a
you have to
huge,
understand that they pick that
it's fake
one
as fuck.
company that's gonna
Yeah, it's
you
fake.
choose okay X is gonna be pumped and all the funding goes into that, all the funding,
Yeah.
overproduction that they
So I
don't need.
understand why some people would want to put their money there. Like money's green. Like if you're gonna make money. But like
Yeah,
it's a risk. Definitely on that riskier side where you could see your shit get blown up quick. Or like even look at Alibaba, it's down like 11, 12% over the past week just because Jack
exactly.
Ma's news disappeared. Like that stock can keep getting crushed till he comes back, and he may never come back.
He lost $10 billion alone when the Ant Group was delisted off the
Really?
or was the IPO was stopped. So I mean, if he's losing 10 billion, think about the money lost elsewhere of people that had to do with that firm in
Definitely.
various capacities. So because everything, not even just the factors, all factors are controlled really by the government. It's communistic capitalism, if you can understand really what that means.
It's
But
a different ball game.
it is, and I mean, it speaks to Jack Ma too that he was able to build. What is he, the fourth or fifth richest person in the world?
Yeah.
Maybe I think he's
Pretty rich.
dropped actually after that, but
He's pretty rich.
yeah, he's in a country like China that he's built that. It's incredible, really.
I mean, it's incredible, but look where it got him now. This man is possibly dead. I hope, I really hope he's bugging out in some like shelter in like Siberia. The man jumped the border. He's in freaking Russia right now in some bug out shelter.
Well, he's
I hope
very,
he's
I mean,
chilling.
he's very technologically savvy, and he's definitely smart enough to get himself out and get himself
Yeah.
somewhere. Uh, I think if that's what he wanted to do or thought that he needed to do, so
Or maybe he was just ready to take the L.
that's
Might have
that
just been, maybe he
that's
was like, damn, I'm gonna be a martyr, but like, I don't think the man's gonna be a martyr. We might just never hear from him again, and no one's gonna ever talk about Jack Ma. It'll be something we bring up in 20 years. Yo, you
yeah
remember that dude Jack Ma from Alibaba when he
yeah
disappeared? What happened to him? And
he
everyone's gonna
was
be like, I don't know.
well. It's also, I mean, he a lot of people talked about him like having desires for the presidency, or I think they call him president there, even though it's in no way, shape, or form an actual president.
Yeah,
Uh, People always talked about him having desires for the presidency, but I also don't think he would say something on stage that that I may be immature or inaccurate or laughable by saying all this. Uh, you know, Kind of seems like somebody who was kind of like, okay, I'm going to say this and then I'm gone. I'm going to go hide away somewhere for a very long time. Uh,
yeah.
so I honestly, I would say, I think he's alive, and I think that he's probably in his own hiding, but very high likelihood he's also either detained or
Dead.
already.
Yeah. But there's definitely a good chance he's detained or dead.
Yeah, very good chance. Uh, let's talk let's talk markets a little bit, I guess. Yeah, first day of trading on Monday was a little bit of a rough
Bloody.
one. Yeah, yesterday was a little bit better, but still a little rough. And
You
then
know what's funny?
yeah,
On the first day of trading, I said that thing the other day about all those people posting their gains on Instagram and stuff, and how all these Robinhood traders. And we actually had an Uber driver who drove us one time in the city, like me,
mhm,
Jack, Johnny Kellerman, all the boys, and he was posting his Robinhood gains on his story for a little bit, right? So I was like, "Yo, this has got to be the top." I put that out on my story over the weekend,
yeah,
and man, those kids Monday morning came around. I didn't see any screenshots of gains. I don't know. It's
yeah,
like they don't know how to short stuff. It's only like the market only goes up for people.
yeah.
And
And
that cracked me up. I'm sure there's some gains on Instagram today, being that it's up almost 1%.
let's talk gains because I think we might differ, and I think you think it's going to be a little bit of a rough year. Am I wrong in saying that?
Nah, I just think all these people who just play call after call after call are gonna get smacked around. It can't go up
Okay,
every
well
day.
let's talk plays for maybe calls and not specifically on anything, but let's think about this. And I don't know if you saw the stats, but seven times in history as November and December both returned 10% positive gains. And of those seven times, the past six of them, January has always been positive, average of 5%, I think, right around 5%. And the next year has always been positive, except for the first occurrence in 1933, which was negative. Every other year has been positive, average of 14 or 15%. So given that we returned 15% in both November and December, we got a blue wave coming.
I mean, we got more money
Stimulus is
coming, so the
coming.
market's gonna go up, but there's gonna be red days. There's gonna be pullback days where
So do
people
you
are gonna
think
get
volatility
smacked.
increases we see kind of early 2020 type volatility, or
No,
uh,
we're gonna see days like yesterday where it's just down 2%, down 1.5%.
yeah,
Random. When's the last time we saw a red day? Like we don't really see red days, or it's just even. And even those even days are gonna smack people around because they don't calculate the time value of money into they don't calculate the time value into their options. It's decaying, and they play 1 day options. Man, these people out there these days. So I don't know. I think a lot of those people get smacked around. Will the market keep going up? Hell yeah, of course. But the higher it goes, the lower it must fall. No doubt. Did you see the Fed said they're going to stop? They're considering tapering off bond buying by the end of the year.
I didn't see that. I mean, by the end of the year
I
I
mean,
guess that's kind of
hey,
what they had said
that's the
already.
that's the start. That's the start. That's the start of it all, though.
Start of what?
Start of the pullback. Once they start buying, the market is going to pull back heavy, and not quick. It's going to be a slow bleed. It's going to slowly drop.
Do you actually think that they're gonna slow down bond buying considering what
Yeah, they have
happened
to.
in how so?
Eventually, they're going to have to. Like, there's not going to be any more digital fucking things on the screen if Congress doesn't pass it. There's going to come to a point where
Congress is just gonna pass any type of the only
we
thing
don't
they're
know
gonna
that.
be
We don't
passing
know
is
that. We
stimulus.
don't know that. We have stimulus on the way, but what we don't know in a year what's going to be going on.
No, and I don't disagree with that.
So I'm saying, let's say the Fed follows through and they start tapering. That's going to be it. If they start slowing down the bonds, the market's going to stop going up and it's going to start slowly pulling back. The more they pull back the bond buying, and if they pulled, and if they, and I honestly think they're going to slow the bond buying down over years. I don't think it's going to just stop. So I think that's going to be the slow bleed.
Yeah, I
We're going to
mean,
see so many. Obviously, there's still going to be winners. Like companies are still going to be winning. Look at Apple. Look at Walmart. They've been open during all these, the big players,
yeah,
Amazon, they'll probably still be winning somehow, but a lot of these smaller companies and stuff. I mean, even if you just look at the worst performers on the year, people say stocks always go up. The top 10 worst performers on the year, or like if you were holding those stocks in your portfolio, you had a bad time in those positions. And I think we'll see a lot more stocks get smacked around when the Fed stops buying. A lot more.
Yeah, and I mean that's
Yeah, but
I
if 75
agree.
if 75% of the market gets smacked around, it's not going to be bueno.
Where do you see those firms being located? Financials, banks, where?
Well, if when the rates start going up, the banks are going to do fine. The rates are going to go up. They have to. Look at the inflation.
Already up over 1% today.
Look at the inflation.
10-year Treasury is already over 1% today. It was 9.91 yesterday. So that's a big move.
I thought it was moving down, but
no, Treasury
moved up. But did you see the inflation adjusted bonds? They went up to 2%.
Well, that's and we can go right into it because that's where
Call for 2% inflation,
and
they're saying
to talk about.
You know what?
Reflation.
Yeah, hold on. Now we need to talk about something. The Fed is fucking everybody right now. They're sitting here saying there's no inflation so that everybody chills, and all these people are going to sit here. One, I mean, half the country is too stupid to understand how inflation works.
I was just going to say the majority of people don't even know what
which is
they
sad.
Hear inflation, they get where they don't know what inflation is or how it affects.
Yeah. But it is just sad in reality that, the people that do understand inflation, the people that do trust the Fed, they're sitting here going, all right, there is no inflation. And then they're going to get fucked. We're going to have crazy inflation. There's no way we don't.
Yeah, I think there's underlying inflation all over.
I saw a tweet the other day. The guy said his local breakfast spot, he'd get a breakfast burrito from like this bodega. He said a year ago it was $2.25. Today it is $3.50.
Yeah, and especially in businesses like that, how else do you make up for lost revenue and from lockdowns and such? You're obviously going to raise prices, and you're going to have to.
And people have the money. It's not like they're raising prices and people can't afford it. People are coming in and paying it. Yeah,
they're paying extra stimulus. Yeah, it's incredible.
That's what because I don't even know. What the Fed knows what they're doing. Like Powell's a smart man. He's not a retard, so he knows how he can measure inflation different ways and like the CPI and all that. So like, it's just the fact of how they're measuring it. They're picking a basket that they know is not going to fucking show an increase. It's bull. It's wrong. But what are you going to do? It's the same thing as in 2008 when they stood up there and said the U.S. economy is sound. Like they're sitting there and telling us everything's good. So everyone stays on the train and no one starts panicking.
Well, that's because as soon as the first person hops off the train, the train derails because it just
definitely
seesawing. So in Powell's defense, and especially since his tools are so limited at this point,
don't get me wrong,
he can't really do anything, and he knows. I mean, and this may be something that we'll look back on and say it was Trump's fault, or could just be the pandemic's fault, but he was already too deep by the time he started that he can't slow the train down or stop the train at all now because it's just going to fall completely off the tracks.
Trust me. I agree. I think if you made like a game theory chart and you charted it out, like payoffs of what you could do, like I think it would be a worse effect if he got up there and said like, yo, it's hitting the fan. Like, I think it would be horrible. It'd be horrible. Like even if he spun it right, like it wouldn't be good. So it is probably better off for the majority what he's doing, but like, is it right? I don't know, but we'll see.
What do you see for and that's what I wanted to talk about, underlying inflation, and inflation definitely coming back very, very soon.
Yeah, and with inflation, rates are going to have to rise.
10%. Yeah. What about things like oil, which is, I mean, it's down 50% still from previous levels.
Yeah, but I think oil is going to keep rising with inflation.
That's what I mean. So is oil the reflation play? Tech companies are going to soar off inflation again.
Oh yeah, risk assets popping.
Definitely. So what else? Where else do you see trades in the reinflationary environment?
Well, I'm still sticking with metal dealers, well, metal producers. I'm not buying any metal itself because
Mhm.
honestly, at the end of the day, gold and silver don't move quick enough. I'd rather just buy Bitcoin,
Yeah.
be 100% honest, as wild as that sounds.
Sell a sports car quicker than you could sell.
Yeah, literally, like, and gold, I just have such a problem with how you have to pick it up at a premium because I understand it. Like the dude bought it from the refinery and then he's got to make his money. And then so I understand there's parts of the puzzle, but then you got to wait so long to break even. And then even when you sell it, you're selling it at a discount. So it's like, what? It's like I'm buying it at a premium, selling it at a discount. What's the point of this? I got to wait 7
Very
years
tough.
for it to go up enough for me to be able to go sell it.
Very tough.
Yeah. So definitely like Barrick Gold, just some big gold and precious metal names.
Yep.
I think
And you
could be a
mentioned
nice play.
Bitcoin, so let's roll into that a little bit. It popped off to 35 over the New Year's weekend. It's down to
Yeah, I don't know what
31,
should
right?
have went back. Should have went back to the last podcast before we got on and we should have seen what it was at then.
Yeah, I would say I think right around 28 or 29.
Maybe.
Um,
Well, last podcast we did was when?
just before Christmas, actually, I believe. But JP Morgan, yeah, I don't know if you saw that. They just made a bit of a surprising announcement. They said that they could see Bitcoin go as high as 146,000 in 2021.
I know, yo.
It's a that's a
Well,
that's a bold statement.
my low case is 50K. No cap. 50 on the low. 100
I'll tell you what, if it goes to
100 conservative.
146,000, there's going to be a lot of accidental billionaires and a lot of people that have no idea.
You know how many people are already worth like millions off this shit? Like I'm talking like hundreds of millions, like people we don't even know about. Like
I know it.
there's like bro, it is insane the numbers I see come across my screen some days on the whale trades. Hold on. Let me just pull up something for you real quick. I think it's like, let's see what the most recent whale alert was for Bitcoin. All right. 375 Bitcoin transferred from Coinbase to unknown wallet. So that means it's probably going into like cold storage, right? 375 Bitcoin. That's 13 million. That's retarded.
When was that? And these are just randomly they come across your screen.
Yeah, it's like big alerts. It's a Twitter account. And this person, because it's all 375 and they sent them to different wallets.
Yeah.
So they did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 transactions, it looks like, because they're all for 375.
Yep.
That is, what is that? 5 times 13. It's $65 million. That's generational wealth.
Yeah.
At that point, like there's people that created generational wealth off of freaking internet money. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is incredible.
But like honestly, I truly believe that there's a whole economy is built behind it now between the miners and like they have so many the whole new movement is decentralized finance, like on bank yourself and like where people are lending out their crypto to other people, peer-to-peer lending and like collecting interest rates and whatnot. So I don't see it going. I only see it getting bigger. And Bitcoin owns that sphere. Like it is literally, it took its highest market cap, like its highest percentage of the market ever. It was like 78% of the market of the whole crypto market. Like that's retarded. Like it's worth over $500 billion now.
Totally. I think the peer-to-peer lending aspect of it is really interesting because not only are you going to see such face value growth over the time, you're also going to be pulling interest return off of it. So what are the return rates, the interest rates like in that peer-to-peer lending?
Beautiful. So for example, this is not an endorsement or anything, but Celsius Network, 4.8% on Bitcoin. You put it in, and that's if you get paid back in Bitcoin. If they pay you back in Celsius coin, it's like 5.2% because they have their own coin. And Celsius coin went up 3,000% this year. So if you're going to pay back in Celsius coin, you're feeling nice. Personally, I would just take the Bitcoin, but that's 4.8% right there.
how does that payback work? Because you think about, you lend somebody $1, you get back $1 plus the interest. But with
Well, you
Bitcoin, you're
lock
not
it
going to be
up.
getting back
So
more Bitcoin.
so you're not actually choosing who you're lending to. You're not controlling any of that. Like the Celsius network does that itself. So like you lock your Bitcoin up, right?
Yep.
And the great part about it is like you can unlock it at any time, take it back, and you're catching. So you have it locked up. You're catching the increase in value. So I could have had mine locked up from 10,000 and been
Yep.
catching the interest rate the whole time. And like as my account grown, I obviously like I would be making more money on the interest now compared to when it was at 10,000.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So it's some pretty wild. It's like bank. The only thing that
And
scares
then
me
if you
about
were to
that,
cash out, they'd pay you back,
they
the
would just send me my
31 that it's
Bitcoin.
at now.
They would just send me my Bitcoin. Yeah. And they pay you in Bitcoin. They just add it to your wallet. It's like Coinbase without Coinbase. Like, I don't think you could buy crypto through it though. You got to buy crypto and then send it to them.
What are your thoughts with the
And
things
it's an
like
American
Coinbase
company.
and things like that, these virtual wallets? Because a lot of them have seen troubles, just shutting down and people's coins are gone.
Yeah,
Uh,
you gotta mess with the American. Yo, honestly, like you gotta. I hate regulation, but you gotta stick with the ones that aren't gonna get fucked by the regulators. Because like Coinbase, Gemini, they're all mad. They follow the laws and everything. They have know your customer, all stuff like that. So like, I'm not really worried. I'm gonna wake up and like, that's the thing that sketches me about decentralized finance is what if one day the regulators decide you're not you're a bank. They decide you are a bank and you don't have a charter. You're not following regulation. Like, and then they just shut down Celsius. Like I'm sure because the nice thing about Celsius Network, it is an American company and they have insurance policies.
mhm.
So everyone's backed for up to 250,000 into their network. So if they did get taken out, everyone should get paid out. Who knows what type of time frame that shit would be on? I'm sure it would go to court, but it's definitely some interesting shit. And that's why I think crypto is really it's about to take off. And we got some big players moving in. Like I'm
Well,
sure
that was
JP
going to be my
Morgan,
next point is when you can kind of shore up some of those things. And I know it's the whole idea of the
regulation.
decentralized
Regulation will
finance,
do
but
it.
if you can in some way kind of centralize it a little bit, or just, yeah, like you said, regulate it in some way, then you'll see a lot of the older generations start to be more comfortable moving a little bit of percentage of their portfolio into something like that. Uh,
I truly believe regulation is gonna have to occur. It's gonna have to occur in a smart way, hopefully. And if it does, I think it's gonna blow up because, like you said, that's only gonna attract more people to the sphere,
yep.
and it's gonna cause that could be the thing that sends Bitcoin to like 150,000, 200,000. Like
Yeah.
easy. I
Yeah.
mean, for it to be on parity with the gold market, I was reading, it would be that's when the market cap would hit 11 trillion. It
Mhm.
would be 650,000 a coin. That would be retarded.
But how much gold is there in the world
We
uh
know that. We know how much
versus
gold.
the what
We know about how much gold is above ground right now.
about how much gold is above ground right now,
Yeah, but we don't know how much is below,
is below ground.
which
And
is a
that's the
beautiful
interesting
thing.
thing, because we do know how much the cap on the coin is going to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So how,
exactly.
how does that come into play? How do they measure that? What is what would the price be, if on scale with the amount of gold above ground versus the amount of coin at the maximum coin?
Well, that's what it is. If there was 21 million coins at an $11 trillion market cap, they'd be
Okay, okay,
600.
okay, okay.
They'd be
It would be six
600.
hundred and fifty thousand dollars.
Yeah, about.
Okay. And at what point, or do they ever just, well, there would be no point to it, because you can just split it up as many times as you want and pass it off to them. So there's going to be no type of split in value or anything.
Yeah, there's literally it can be broken down to point like 00 to the I think it's like the eighth decimal.
Yeah.
And then there's some other thing I just heard about recently. They started breaking it down even more to like the milli Bitcoin, the thousandth of a Bitcoin,
Hmm.
which is already in one of those decimals. So I don't know why they had to make a new name for it because it would just be the third decimal in or the second
Yeah.
decimal in. But
Yeah.
they yeah, I don't know. You could definitely break it down mad small. Like there's definitely enough for everyone to save in it if they wanted to. That's all,
Hmm.
honestly, that's all the people need is just a few more companies to say we're gonna put our money on the balance sheet in this, and it's game over. I think
Yeah. And
game.
I mean, you think of, and now he's I can't think of what his name is or who he plays for, but NFL player that
Oh
just said
yeah.
he's going to get paid in Bitcoin, at least a portion. He is sponsored by a Bitcoin company or whatever, so he puts tweets out, whatever. He's making money, but I'm certain of it that there's other players who are going to look at that and say, you know
Pay me in
what?
Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to say, I'm going to be taking my cash, giving it off to an investment manager for him to take risk with it, or you could just pay me in Bitcoin and I have liquid capital that I'm still taking the risk with.
Yeah.
So a lot of those guys are going to take that without a doubt.
100%. If they were smart, they definitely would.
Yeah, and
That man's got
I'm
to be
sure.
feeling nice that he got
I would
paid.
say the NFL. This contract is in the NFL. If I was to think about it, I would say the NBA would probably be the first place that I would have guessed to see that. So I guess I'll say it. The first person I think that would have a full contract paid in Bitcoin, which I would not be surprised if that comes very soon, would probably be the NBA, just because they're so player driven and do whatever the players want. Uh, but think of the day when, and it's very possible that uh, full professional sports contracts guaranteed are going to be, like I mean, say it's a big name, NBA, $230 million guaranteed over, 7 years or whatever it is, 8 years, paid fully in coin. And that's going to be incredibly interesting to see because, first of all, they have to be able to get their hands on $230 million worth of Bitcoin
Exactly.
to pay it out. And you probably have to get your hands on the full 230 worth because you can't play it as, so those NBA teams can say, okay, we have to pay him 230 million over 7 years. That's X over X amount per year. We'll say
Yeah.
seven, yeah, whatever. So,
But it's like getting gold. So like, let's say the price of
well,
gold. Yeah, like if let's say one
they
year you
can
got
they
an
can say, okay,
ounce,
we
the
need
next year you might
93
get a
cents
half
or
ounce.
we need 86 cents on the dollar right now to know that in the investment account we're going to have the
Oh
ability
yeah,
to
yeah.
pay
It's
that
paying that
230.
230 million. Mm-hmm.
With the coin, they can't know for certain that if they put it at, if they buy, $140 million worth, the coin's going to be at, 230 million by maturity of the contract.
Yeah.
So
Well, if enough people started doing that, they wouldn't measure it in dollars anymore. It would be like, yo, pay me 3 Bitcoin.
that's true. That's true.
Which I don't think that's ever gonna happen. That's like a Bitcoin fanboy's like
No, I was going to say
fantasy.
that's like full
They have
adoption
they have a
of
theory. Hyper like coinalization, some crazy shit, like that they be chatted about. And they're like, yeah. So like when it's broken down, so I think it's like the 8th decimal place, that's considered one stat, right?
yeah.
So some people figure that at one point one stat is going to be the equivalent of $1,000, and like $1,000 isn't even going to like money. Dollars won't be worth anything, and I'm like, yo, you're tripping balls. Like, there's always going to be currency. Bitcoin's not currency.
Always going to be currency. Always going
Yeah,
to be some form of and it just comes down to the government's never going to allow that to happen. They would never
yeah,
full.
yeah. You know what? Honestly, the government honestly will create digital money one day. It's going to be the U.S.
I
dollar
would say they're
coin.
already creating it.
Yeah, no, they probably already have. Like, let's be honest. Like, people say Bitcoin's a CIA project, and that's why we don't know who Satoshi is, the guy who started it.
Wouldn't be surprised. Should be truthful with you.
Bro, I wouldn't be surprised either. Look at all the
Who's the
crazy shit.
largest holder of coin?
CIA. Bro,
Is it the CIA? I thought it was. I mean,
it
I
is
knew it
the
was the
CIA.
government, but is
It
it
is
the
the
CIA?
CIA specifically because they took down the Silk Road and they took
Because they just
all those wallets.
yeah. Jesus.
It's wild. So yo, think about they probably have like billions in coin.
Oh,
Billions.
no question about it. They took billions when they took over the Silk Road. I would say honestly.
Yeah, probably.
That's probably 15 to 20x at least.
Yeah.
Probably
Yeah,
way more than
crazy. Honestly, I mean, look at what's his name? The dude, Michael Sayer, MicroStrategy. Whatever they put in, they said they're up double on already. Bugging.
Yeah. I mean, think of other
that kind of
other
worries
firms
me.
and think of this. I mean, think about things like I mean, big retailers or something like that. Macy's, the cash that they have in their balance sheet earning absolutely nothing. how much that would matter for them if they could have doubled the cash on their balance
Doubled it
sheet
quick. Could have saved
with
him.
with the same amount of liquidity. Incredible, you know. So it's risky, but it's also very interesting and very intriguing to want to go that route.
It is risky, but I feel like for a bigger firm, it's not as risky because right now they're such like for us personally, for little people, I would say the retail level, you're an early adopter, but you're not really an early adopter. Like you're not moving the markets anyway. But like say Elon Musk comes out, he already put a billion of Tesla's balance sheet into Bitcoin. Then he comes out and says, I put a billion of Tesla's cash into Bitcoin. The
Did he
market
do
would go
that, or are you
fucking
just saying
no.
what if he did?
No, I'm saying if he did, the
Okay, I
market would
didn't.
go fucking nuts. Everyone would be like, more companies would do it. So I feel like being a big player like that, he has to show that he's an early adopter. Like big players in general, big companies, they
Yeah,
have an upside on that just by saying they did it. Because other
without a
people
doubt.
are going to be like, let me hop on that train.
Without
Like
a
that
doubt. And
man, Michael
it was
Sayer.
one of my main concerns about cryptocurrency all along is that the big Bitcoin guys, when Bitcoin began to drop, they were tweeting out, "Hey, hop off Bitcoin, hop into Litecoin or whatever, Dogcoin or whatever it is." Already
Doge.
holding that, everybody
Yeah.
else hops in, it pumps thousands of percent, and then they go, "Well, this coin's shit. Hop on, the X
Yeah.
coin or the Z coin," and
I
same
mean,
thing.
that happens in the little coins. Don't
It
get me
does.
wrong. I mean, it also happens
But
in the
like you
little
said,
stocks.
you can't move markets in that way in Bitcoin anymore, and it
Yeah,
does
not in
happen.
Bitcoin. There's
But
a
you
lot of
mentioned Tesla.
people.
Go ahead.
There's a lot of people that like to talk about it getting manipulated, but I don't really think it gets manipulated like that. Bitcoin, it's too big. It's $500 billion these days. Like
Yeah, yeah.
it's different.
I mean, with that, do you think Tesla gets manipulated in the markets though?
I mean, not
Because
really.
that's about an equal cap.
Do I think it's irrational? Hell yeah. Do I think it's being manipulated by like a player? No. Like I don't think like who
Well,
can manage to move it? I mean, like maybe you're a
hold your
spook.
thought. Hold your thought. With that said, let's flip to it. The Michael Burry tweet that he tweeted out and deleted. Did you see it or no?
Was it that's the tweet he said about Elon Musk? I missed it, bro.
Yeah,
Yo, let me tell you, I have notifications on. Hold on, before we get into this, let's explain to everyone how Barry operates. This man, straight gangster. I love it. So he tweets, he fucking keeps that shit up for maybe 30 minutes, deletes that shit right away. You got to be on your notifications, screenshot that shit, ready to go. Like, you got to build an arsenal of this man's a legend.
and
If
this
you
is
don't want to know
Michael
what he's
Burry from
saying,
The Big Short, the smart guy. He didn't wear the shoes. He was banging on the drums. He listened to heavy metal music.
genius.
He's a doctor, a medical doctor. He's also a genius. Yeah, he's a former fund manager. Guy knows what the hell he's talking about. He's on his shit. He's on top of his shit.
You
He
know what
knows what.
yeah, you know what's crazy? He disappeared too after 2008. Like, yo, the man went off the grid. He was like, fuck this. Didn't really talk to people. He did a few interviews.
Oh, he does. He doesn't like interviews. If you find interviews with him, or you get to ask him questions, that's a rare thing. He doesn't like the spotlight.
Yeah, he did like a 60 minutes interview in like 2010. And then he tried to talk to the FBI about like the banks and all that shit. He was like trying to tell them, like, yo, look at this. Like, I knew this was coming years in advance. Like, but no one ever wanted to talk to him.
Yep.
So then he went off the grid and yo, this March crash happened and the man came out. He was like, let me bring the people to the promised land. That's what I was thinking when this man came back. He was like, I'm coming back to save the people.
You have to. And I
Yeah.
mean, like he knows he knows his shit.
Mm-hmm.
Tweets out stuff all the time.
Wild
Great
stuff.
insight. Follow him. Great insight. I mean, guy knows exactly what he's talking about. This tweet though, he tweeted it out and basically said, I'm shorting Tesla at these levels. I'm going big short numero dos.
Really?
And basically said that the what was it? The revenue is being made up for by
The
government credits and tax
Yeah.
write-offs.
Yes.
Those fall
I've
off
been saying
in
that for a
XYZ
year.
and XYZ. They literally have no way to make up the revenue. They're just playing a big
Yeah,
balance sheet and
bro,
income
I know
statement
exactly what you're talking about. They sell their clean air credits to other car companies, and the car companies pay them billions.
Yes, but also other things, they have other tax credits and tax write-offs that they're also using to offset revenue shortfalls and make it look like they're profitable, but those are falling off in a certain amount of time. And he obviously deleted the tweet. I don't have the data right in front of me.
Listen to me, bro. I literally saw the tweet come across my phone. Came up, Twitter notification. I saw Elon Musk's name in it, and I was driving on the parkway. And I thought to myself, I need to read that tweet. I need to. And then I get off the parkway. I click the button. It's deleted. I was pissed.
Yeah, it was only up for a very short amount of time.
Literally, maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Big short investor Michael Burry reveals he's short Tesla. Tells Elon Musk to issue more stock at its ridiculous price.
He should, honestly. Why not?
So at Elon Musk, yes, I'm short Tesla, but some free advice for a guy. Seriously, issue 25 to 50% more of your shares at the current ridiculous price. That's not dilution. He continued, you'd be cementing permanence and untold optionality. If there are buyers, sell that Tesla souffle.
He's a savage, and I love it. I freaking love it. Yo, Manis, I'm so hyped you brought this up because I was literally going to talk to you after this and be like, yo, I missed this tweet yesterday. And I was livid. Bro, so does that mean we get wild with it? Are we about to get jiggy with it and short Tesla to the balls?
I mean, I'm going to have to do some further research, but the guy seems to be spot on. And
I might it might be one of those situations where my future son asked me, Dad, how did you get rich? I'm gonna say, I saw a tweet about shorting Tesla. I threw 10 bands at it.
Hammered it. Took it all out of the coin, took the whole portfolio out of coin. And
that would be
Tesla short.
That would be risk, but if that paid off, I'd be retired early, King. I'd be done.
The problem is you have to have the capital to hit the interim payments along the way, because it's gonna be fucking. It could still be pumping short.
Like, that's what I mean. Like, hold on. How many people, no cap, have probably lost their life savings shorting Tesla? Retarded amount.
Yeah, I mean, basically everybody who shorted them in the past year and a half.
I know, but it's up so crazy. I feel like we gotta hit the dub. And now that this man's in on it, yo, you got me hyped. I'm ready. Yo, they're up 5% again today. Yo, they drive they drive the S&P right now. I hope everyone realizes that they are such a big percent of the S&P. I forgot what it was. I think it's every 3% they move the S&P 1%.
Wait, say that again? I'm sorry.
Every 3% they move, they can move the S&P 1%. If everything else held equal.
Because it's a cap weighted, yeah.
Yeah.
And we see that so much.
We see that right now. It's up 5%. Tesla's up 5%, and the S&P is up 1 and a fifth.
Well,
wild.
I was gonna say we see that all the time now, because and it's the issue with a market cap weighted index when you do have some of these just huge companies in there, is they're being so heavily influencing the outcome of the day, and with those companies being the ones who are open and conducting business and still making profits in these times, hand over fist, the markets aren't really revealing the underlying trouble. So if you were to actually click through and I use FinViz, it's called, and they have like a little map screen there. You click on the S&P thing, and it'll show you, the actual spread of what's green and what's red in the S&P, and it's usually a very small number of companies that are very green, and then there's just a lot of red trickling all through the rest of the map. So
that's what scares me a lot about, like, some of these people. Like, I'm sure people hit you up a lot with like stock questions, just know what you do. Fucking, I have people all the time hit me with these random ass stocks, bro. And I'm just like
single stocks or whatever.
Yeah. And it's not even that. It's like, I just try to explain to people. I'm like, yo, if you send me something with a sub $15 million market cap, I'm not even looking at it. At it.
That's actually a good one.
Honestly, sub 50 million. Sub $1 billion, yo. Like, it's not worth our time.
Yeah. I saw this younger kid that I know that I used to play hockey with the other day, and he, I don't remember the company or whatever. And he asked me it, and I was just like, yeah, buddy, I've never heard of that in my life. And he's like,
And they
"What do you
act like
mean?" He's like, "Oh,
exactly. I was just gonna say they act like you should
literally
know
said
it.
to me, he's like, literally said to me, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Don't you follow something on Twitter, with his stock plays?" And I was like, first of all, no, I'm pretty sure that's fucking illegal. A,
Literally, there's
B,
so many pump and
yeah,
dumpers on Twitter.
yeah, B, absolutely no shot I would ever do that. Why would I do what I do if I was going to sit on Twitter and look at stock plays? But it's just incredible to me, and that they're, like you said, stunned that I don't know what this
I
little
like getting
teeny company
data
is.
from Twitter, but I'm not copying some man's stock plays off Twitter. Hell no.
Yeah, and then they're asking me about it. No, I don't
I
know what
know.
it's called. Yeah, I actually make money. No, I don't know what it's called.
But you know what then? I just some of that gets me so annoyed because I'm like, when the stock goes up, I have people that are like, "Yo, it went up," and it's like, bro, that's like hitting a gamble. It's like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
saved you from probably losing like 40% at the end of
And
the day.
that's
Like,
it. They love they love the one green day always leads to another green day. Oh, they were up today. I'm doubling down, hammering it. Yeah, it's like
yo, send
it's
me a
the same thing. It's a gamble. It's like you think about it. They hit the little, they hit the bet on the early game on the Giants or whatever, and then they toss a fucking 6 leg parlay on the, with all the profits on the afternoon. It's like, buddy,
don't know what to tell you.
you didn't really think you were gonna hit that, did you?
Yeah, literally, it's especially with these Robinhood traders and whatnot.
Yeah,
Robinhood, they must be hyped. Like they must just see these fucking options trade comes in and they just go, all right, that's our money now. Like that's expiring. Thank you. That's
yeah.
expiring, worthless.
And it doesn't really hurt the big investment houses either, because the people who are doing this, these trades are not people that were going to be, you know placing money with any type of decent manager, uh as it
Well,
was. So
well, did you see like Merrill Lynch and Morgan Stanley are trying to get more retail people in, like Robinhood? I mean,
uh,
I think
I
Robinhood definitely
didn't
shook
see
up.
that, but I have seen a lot of,
I think it
and
shook up
my
the game.
LinkedIn has been popping off a little bit with a lot of, specifically Merrill Lynch, like the, uh, financial advisor positions, different stuff like that. It looks like they're hiring a lot even through these times. So it would make sense. The more, you know advisors you're bringing on, the more you're looking to contact retail clients. So yeah,
But freaking yeah, I think Robinhood changed the game because I think they saw like how quick Robinhood amassed assets, like
yeah,
real quick, and they see how people have that. Honestly, at the end of the day, 99% of people on Robinhood are just trying to fill that gambling niche. Like they just fucking want the
yeah,
adrenaline rush, and
without a doubt.
which is just at the end of the day, you know what? It might be better than sports gambling. Who knows? It honestly might be. It might be better for you.
You
Some
should get
people
a
are gonna,
tax write-off, bigger one
yeah,
than your, I
and
guess, your
some people,
gambling debts are,
and
but you're
so,
probably not betting with a real book.
and some people are gonna learn like how to trade, and some people are gonna be like, oh shit, I blew up $10,000. Let me put it into let me match the market from here on out. So
This is, let me. I'm
teach
gonna.
some
This
people
is an
lessons.
interesting. Go ahead, and I got an interesting story, I guess.
No, go ahead, but I just think
Yeah,
it's gonna teach people lessons. Honestly, like I think it's
yeah.
good for the market overall.
This guy I know, he was, on the desk with Meridian Equity Partners back in the day, CNBC contributor, and he told me a story about when he first kind of came on the desk, and he had asked his manager, can you, can you teach me how to trade, really? And the guy said, well, how much money can you come up with? Maybe $5,000. Put $5,000 in your brokerage account at home, and when you lose all your money, come back to me. And he said he put it in, and probably within the week he had lost the whole 5 grand. He came back to his boss, and he said, "Did you lose it?" He said, "Yep." He goes, "Did you learn a lot?" And he goes, "Most I've ever learned about anything in my life, and especially in a week's time." And the guy went on to have a successful trading
Career.
career. So he must have learned a lot from it. But it just goes to show you, you're only going to learn it really one way, and it's by doing it. And you're either going to blow the ship up, or you're going to be successful. But either way,
Oh,
you're probably
trust
going to
me.
learn a lot on the way. Probably learn more from blowing the ship up than,
Trust me, I've blown the ship up more than once now.
many a times has the ship been blown up.
Yeah, over the
So
past like 2.5 years, I've definitely Yo, I should have amassed so much more money than I have right now, but I fucking fucked myself over so bad, yo.
Option trader Philly was hammering the S&P through March.
Yeah, like that was bad. That was a bad time. And then I had a bad time where like I was trying to trade the Bitcoin a little bit, like not
Yeah,
just buy and hold it. And that was a bad time too. I should have so much more
tough.
Bitcoin than I have.
Especially
But you
and
learn.
you
Like I said, I figured it out. Now, yo, like honestly, I used to be making trades like at least 1 to 2 a week. And now like I make one a month. And my
and
hit
that's
rate
strictly in coin,
is
or
like
you're talking equities, anything.
not like equities or options, and my hit rate now is like 85%. Like when I make them, I hit them for the most part.
Yeah,
Knock on wood.
you love
But
to
like
see
when you're
that.
trading too much, you're just fucking up. You're looking for the next big thing, and like you were saying
Yeah.
before, people hit you up and they're like, "Yo, check out this stock," and it's like it's up 45% today, bro. Like, what
It's
do you think's
already
gonna
gone,
happen?
bro.
What do
Ship
you think's gonna
sailed. Yeah,
happen? You missed your entry and exit. Like it's gone.
yeah.
Find the next one.
It was gone by 9:03. It was gone.
Mhm. Literally. But
That's
like honestly, you know what I'm really looking for? I'm looking for that Palantir stock to go back down a little bit.
yeah,
I want to latch back onto that to be 100%.
yeah.
I think that honestly might be a hot stock to trade in 2021. Speaking of some like hot plays, not
Yeah.
not a buy and hold. I don't think at all. I think it's gonna be a hot trading stock.
Possible. I'm not giving you any investment advice on here. Let's shift to some more general stuff before I get fucking slung by the SEC or something like that. FINRA comes
Yeah,
knocking on my
yeah. By the way, if you invest in Palantir, you probably lose all your money. That's not financial advice,
yeah. Davey Day Trader gets away with that type of just
bro.
push off, so I guess we're good too.
Yeah, I think we're good. I don't think there's enough people watching
No.
it.
But let's kind of shift to this in something that I heard on another podcast actually, but really an interesting idea, and I want to get your take on it. But just the idea of risk allocation to your whole life, kind of. So,
Oh yeah, that was a very interesting
so
take.
yeah, so the idea being that if you find yourself in more of a consistent income or a salary position, really, your risk in terms of your whole life, your salary is pretty riskless. Uh, your risk is really not jumping on opportunities to kind of grow some stuff that you're saving or investing, because when the world goes to shit, like it has over the past couple months, and this is a little different because some people lost their jobs, but the salaried positions, you can fall back on the salary. Whereas if you find yourself in more of a variable income, small business owner, something of that nature, commission sales type of thing, uh, your income is variable, and when the world goes to shit, you're likely to lose some of that income, or a good portion of that income. So you don't really need to be taking too much risk in terms of the markets, because your risk is really in your career and in your business. So whereas the people in the salary really need to take some risk with equities to kind of make up for the fact that they're kind of they have no downside risk, but their upside risk is also zero
Yeah.
as well. So what are your thoughts on that kind of
Now
strategy?
I like it. It definitely makes sense for someone who's salaried. I feel like honestly, risk is really just a personal thing.
Yeah,
I feel like people got to take risks. If you're not willing to take a risk, you don't deserve the reward at the end of the day. Like if you're gonna allocate your shit to freaking get 8% return for
yeah,
60 years, like I respect it. I do. Like, you know what? It's a safe play. I was thinking about it the other day, honestly, bro. I was gonna text you. I was like, damn, I could really freaking cash some shit out right now, throw it in the S&P, and in 40 years be good, bro. Be guaranteed with at least a 3, 4 million, 5 million, like
yeah,
chilling. And like, but you know what? That's just like that's the riskless play almost at the end of the day. And I'm not trying to do that. I'm more risk oriented. I'm gonna take the hit for the grand slam. Now with the whole salary thing, 100%. You make freaking $50,000 a year. Let's say before taxes. Let's say after taxes you make 40,000. Then you got, let's say you're spending let's throw 10 grand for living, like rent. No, let's say 12 grand for living, rent. So now you got 38 grand. Let's throw 5 grand for like fun shit. Let's break it down. You have 30 grand left over at the end of the day. you best just be throwing that 30 grand into the market, like at all times. Why not? Like you said, that check is coming every week. And even those people, like, I'm sure, people that worked at restaurants, that's a little bit different. They're not on a salary. They're working for tips. So like when the pandemic came around, those people really lost their incomes. They went from income to zero quick.
Yeah.
But like, I know, for example, a lot of people I know, most of them stayed, like they worked through the pandemic, or their company was work from home and they still got paid.
Yeah.
So a lot of people didn't really lose income in that aspect. So those people that have that strong, like you said, risk, that strong zero downside because they have that salary coming in every week, definitely got to be risking the biscuit 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not even to say that on the other side you don't really have to take the risk, but
Yeah.
It's all a matter of cash flow. So that those people with the salary,
you got to make sure you have enough cash flow.
Yeah, they know the cash flow's coming, but on the other side of it, your risk is when the world goes to shit. So world goes to shit, equities go to shit. So that's not to say you don't take risk, but where are you allocating that risk in terms of the little risk that you're going to take? So if you're worried about markets going to shit because the equities are going to go to shit, and so is your business or your commission income or whatever it is, well then maybe a fixed income type of thing, or you're buying bonds, so maybe some riskier bonds. But the idea being, equities go to shit, world goes to shit, bonds typically increase, face value of the bonds increases, so you're still going to take it, but you're also going to be making some yield in the interim off those bonds that can supplement the cash flow. So it doesn't have to be
you
risk
need a lot
zero.
You need a lot of bonds. You need a lot of
risk.
bonds to supplement cash flow. You need
and I don't disagree with that, but point being, you can still find return. It's just where you're allocating the risk based on.
Yeah, you definitely got to take some riskier bonds though now if you want to get some yields.
Definitely, and it's something that I kind of,
in this weird market.
Let's talk about this because it's something that I kind of think about and mull over and have some kind of back and forth opinions on. Is in reality, I think there's a big increase in the amount of I wouldn't even say maybe I'd say subprime debt, but just risky debt that is that they refer to, high yield debt, junk bonds, whatever you want to say. But in reality, how many of those are actually going to go to junk? How many of those are actually going to be left unpaid? Not a large percentage of them, really. And especially when you're talking about bigger companies that have gone into
there's so many bonds that don't get paid. Honestly, at the end of the day, there's a lot of bonds that don't get paid. And bonds are just as risk as equities at the end of the day.
Especially when you're dealing with the smaller firms. I'm talking and we've seen a lot of bigger firms go into high yield or junk ratings. Those companies know they may be going through a little shit and they got the credit down rate, whatever it may be. The likelihood is those bigger companies are going to pay those bonds because
they also don't have to pay them. Like they don't have to pay the dividend on their bonds. Like they really don't. Like it's like like they don't have to. They just have to pay it back like later on. Like they can just stop. Like GE has had bond payments they haven't made before. Like big companies.
Yeah.
So like
I said, it's
like
something
in this environment. What I was gonna say, in this weird market, I feel like with all the negative yielding debt in the world, honestly, everyone's got to shoot at equities these days, A lot of people. There's just so much negative yield and freaking.
Well, let me say something. At the S&P 500 and the TLT, which is a 10-year Treasury index, the TLT beat the S&P in 2020. So there's money to be made in terms of face value increases in bonds. But I also know what you mean in terms of even going forward. We're probably not going to see that again this year. We've already seen an uptick in rates. So
I was just going to say, what happens when rates on the back end go up to 5%, though? Those bonds are going to get smacked.
Slaughtered. Yeah, they're going to get slaughtered. There's no doubt about that.
But, the smart will have moved already, honestly. That's honestly the way I look at it. The smart will have already moved. The pigs get slaughtered. Bulls and bears make money.
Yep. There's 3 ways to make money in the markets: be first, be smarter, or cheap.
Literally.
So you better be one of the 3, and hopefully not the third. So
yeah, and you better be careful with the third because apparently in China they're knocking off heads now.
Yeah, you don't even have to
You
do
know that
anything. You just have to say, hey, the government's fucking us, and then you just. I mean, in America, you walk down the street, you probably hear the government's fucking us 13 times in a 1 block radius, but you walk
literally
down China and you hear it one time, and richest man in the country is just gone.
crazy, honestly. Freaking
It's incredible to think about because what I mean, and I know Madoff's not getting out; he's going to die in prisons. But think about if or I mean Jordan Belfort, like you said, think about if we found out what Madoff did. He went through the whole judicial process, and they said, "Yep, we're just going to kill you.
death.
You're just sentenced to death. You're going on the line. Here you go."
I mean, there would have been a lot of happy people.
A lot of happy
A
people, yes, but
lot of happy people.
there would have been outrage. I think from a lot of people, and I would think the majority of the people would have outrage.
I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of wild. It's interesting. It's an interesting take.
Yeah.
Why kills?
Let
Yeah,
me
I don't know.
ask you: Do you think
I
that?
don't want. I don't want that to come here. I don't want it. What happens if all of a sudden they decide like I don't know? They decide freaking owning a gun is illegal. They want to pop me off for that. Like I'm chilling with that. Like, or they
Yeah,
decide like I don't know. I don't know. What's some little bullshit that I do that they can make like oh
honestly, I
my
never
god right now.
understood the whole Ponzi scheme with Madoff because he was, I mean, the guy knew markets. Like he was just so intelligent in the markets that it would have been so easy for him to just, I mean, even invest that money
Yo, the
into.
man had no accounts. Yo, the money was
He
just
didn't
sitting in
trade one
accounts.
single dollar. I
I
know,
know.
and
I
that's what I
love it.
mean. It's so
Hysterical
incredible
about it.
because he could have just. I mean, he would have been the $1 billion man if he had just invested people's money traditionally and
And
just done it legally.
and you know what's crazy? He worked at the SEC for a little bit. Or
No,
worked at
his
no,
daughter.
he was on the board of the New York Stock Exchange for a little
He
bit, I think.
created the Nasdaq, bro.
Bugging, tripping.
Online trading because of him. He
Crazy.
also his daughter or his sister married somebody in uh that was a regulator, I think an SEC regulator.
Tripping.
Just wild, wild stuff. Very
I think
wild.
it's crazy that when the regulators walked in there, they were just like, yo, no way. Like, they didn't even believe it. They were like, no way.
Let's I guess flip to the talk about this blue wave and then wrap it up. So looking like Georgia and
Yeah.
Georgia's going to have both Democrats win, take the Senate, and it's going to be a full blue wave and blue control for the foreseeable future at least. Um, I have some outtakes. Curious to hear what you have to say about it, just generally and quickly.
Yeah, honestly, like I think that the money printer is just gonna go burr. I don't
Yeah.
think in stimulus ways, honestly, though. I think we might see more stimulus. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying we're not gonna see more money direct to people, but I don't think we're gonna get like a UBI. I don't think we're gonna get like monthly checks or some crazy
No,
shit.
no, I don't
I
think
think we're
so.
gonna
But
see
I
a huge like infrastructure bill. Huge. Absolutely ginormous.
see. I don't know about that. I think
Why? That's what Obama did.
I
The
think the
Democrats do
only
more of that stuff than the
it's not
Republicans.
even a matter of. I think the only things that get done in the first 2 years are stimulus packages. Money printer is going to go crazy, and I
But you
literally
think they're
don't
gonna
think.
give it to people? You think it's straight to people the whole time, like a UBI, like straight, like they're gonna cut us, like say even
Not
$600.
monthly, not monthly,
Oh,
but yeah, like one off three grand checks, thirty
three,
five hundred
four,
dollar
three, four
checks,
a year, 3, 4 a year. You know,
and yeah, here's one for the next quarter. Not even forever going forward.
yeah,
Just at least for this year, we'll see where coronavirus goes from there. But I really don't think much gets passed in the first 2 years, and I think it's actually a downfall for them. I think I think that control, just like not much got done in the first few years of Trump's presidency, and immediately people got pissed off. Congress flipped, and
Mhm.
and I think that's going to happen again. I think Congress will flip in 2 years, and I think it'll probably be pretty stale for the next 2 years. I think in that next 2 years they'll probably bipartisan pass a huge or a huge infrastructure bill, like you said, and we fucking need it. But I don't think it gets done before the 2 years. I think really the only thing that gets done is stimulus and a lot of it, a lot of printing.
yeah. Honestly, I just don't think that's how Congress is going to go about it. I don't think traditionally Congress goes about it. And I mean, like, obviously, these aren't traditional times. We never had straight printing. And I think if anything, it's going to be more in the fact of we're still just going to be backing markets, Fed buying. They'll keep funding that because, like I said, they got to keep funding that. The
Yeah, without a
Treasury
doubt.
has to keep funding that, or else they are going to have to taper off buying. Which I
Yep.
mean, in reality, they used to just use the money they had to buy and sell bonds to control the markets. Like they didn't have this unlimited money printer going burst. So like at some point they should be able to stop. But like I don't know. It's going to be nuts. It's really, we really turned down a path of like unknown when it comes to that, and it's kind of scary. I don't know how some people aren't tripping balls about that. Like honestly,
Yeah. I mean, it just I think a
where
mentality
does it end? Where does it end?
as a country as a whole, or the vast majority of people uh, are just I mean, you see it with the the amount of debt that we have is just as a country, the unfunded liabilities. It's just like, give me the money now, whatever form, and we'll worry about it. We'll just worry about it some other day. And what other day? Don't know. Don't really care.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's
A lot
different,
of,
and
oh, we'll figure it out. And it's like, I mean, you have to do it in some cases, but uh, you also have to have an idea of when that day is going to come that you're going to get fucked from not figuring it out in time.
yeah, because we're really it's, and if we just keep paying people, honestly, if we're gonna print it to the people, I guess. Like I honestly fuck the airlines. I don't care what people say. They're not like we've given them enough money at this point. At this point, I don't give a fuck. Like, give it to the restaurants before we give it. Like, at least make it somewhat fair to the proportion of what industries have been killed. Like, they're giving no money to restaurants, but they're giving mad money. Like, give money to the airlines, fine. Like, do it. Like, save these people's jobs. Like, I'm not saying kill the industry,
Yeah,
but give money proportionally to these industries that have been getting killed. Like these small businesses are just getting smacked around. And did you see those new IRS rules they're fucking bringing in? They're gonna purposely be auditing small
I
businesses
was
more.
just going to say, I did see that they were going to increase audits on small businesses.
So like
Absolutely.
you're gonna kill them this year, and then you're gonna kill them next year again. It's like, what are you doing?
They don't
I mean,
understand.
they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
I
They're
don't
trying
know
to.
if they do. I really don't know if they do know what they're
Nah,
doing,
bro,
honestly.
they know what they're doing. They're trying to fucking kill the small business. They want everyone working for a Walmart so they can track our wages and freaking. At the end of the day, it's about power, bro. I think it's all about power, and I think left, right, they all want the power. At the end of the day, you don't go into politics unless you want power.
My God, or what was that? What was the what Lindsey Graham quote? I can't remember. By God, you guys want goddamn power or something like that. By
Yeah,
God, I
like
hope you never get it. That was a good one.
there.
No, I agree. It's a lot of it is power, but uh, I mean, it's just incredible that like you said, that there's just no help for any type of small business. It seems, and uh, any type of big firm at this point is getting whatever they need written into the bill, but and
Yeah,
even
exactly.
when there is help for the small business, it's so inefficient and ineffective at actually getting to its destination that
We,
it's
we made
almost
such a
pointless.
big deal. We made such a big deal at the beginning of the pandemic about if someone goes into a business that they're not going to make it, that you can't sue that person if you get corona. So if I went to your
Yeah,
restaurant, I get corona, I can sue you. Like they made such a big deal about that, right? And now they can stick this damn Pfizer vaccine in my arm, and if I die, my family can't sue Pfizer. What?
yeah.
What? It just makes no sense. Really makes no sense. The
You
government, if there's anything people need to take away from the year 2020, is that the government's not here to save you. Like, you got to save yourself, and then you can worry about the government after. Like,
yeah, yeah. And I mean, it's just it's incredible when you think about how much money was raised for that Georgia Senate runoff election. I mean, like total
how much?
700-800 million dollars between all four candidates,
That's
probably north
retarded.
of that. But
That's
last time
retarded.
I checked,
That's retarded.
yeah,
Think about what
to
that money could have been done if they would have just, yo, shout out your boy Portnoy.
Listen,
If they could have gave it to Portnoy, no cap.
I'm
How much did he
indifferent
end
on
up
the guy,
raising?
but he's
20.
doing it right now. You can't
Nah,
deny it. He's doing it.
I don't like him, but like, yo, 20 million, gotta respect
Listen,
it. And yo, he made the
and the
smart
thing is,
move, no cap.
it
He made the
again
smart move. He
proves,
hit a bunch of Twitter. He hit up the biggest rich like people on Twitter and
yeah,
straight tagged them. He
just
straight up
called him
tagged
out.
them all. Yeah, he was like, yo, if you're not gonna do it, like, I'm tagging you. And
Yeah,
the next thing you know, they had to do it. All those mans were like, bet 100K, and then they started promoting it, and that shit
yeah.
blew up. It was
Listen,
definitely
and
20 million, I think.
he proved again that private sector is the most efficient way
It is
for doing anything.
literally.
I mean, literally, give us some money. We're just gonna fucking FaceTime them. Just pull them
Yeah.
up on a FaceTime and go, congrats. All right, now I'm gonna hand you off to so and so on the side, and they're just get your banking information. And we'll fucking send it in.
Literally, it's I was reading freaking quote, some kid sent Ronald Reagan a letter back in the day, right? His mom told him your room's a freaking natural disaster or something like that. I mean, he had to clean it. So he sent Ronald Reagan a letter saying, I need like disaster funding to
That's
help
good.
clean my room. And Ronald Reagan responded to him, then you better go around, something like, you better go around and start asking people around the town to help you, because once the government gets involved, things get messy or something like that.
I like that a lot.
Like, even that man knew. I definitely, I feel like I screenshotted it. I'm gonna see if I can pull it up quick. But like,
True though.
yeah, no, it's 100% true. And the government, like FEMA and all that stuff, you might think it's like the greatest thing to come in. Like, no, it gets messy, it gets complicated. There's bureaucratic bullshit. Like,
Yep.
the best way is on the small level, like how they're doing it, man to man, private citizen to private citizen.
Yep.
The thing
Yep.
is, though, like, honestly, the markets, the end of the day, there probably wouldn't be enough giving. If, let's say,
Well, that's another thing. There's no way he could possibly raise
yeah,
enough from a
not him in general. I mean, I'm sure there's other people out there, other charities besides Barstool. They're just in our face because we're on the younger generation. We see that.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's other charities giving, but like even them, they did it in, I feel like, an efficient way. I feel a lot of charities are definitely bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, they take so much in fees off the top, and they're there for the tax write-off, basically. Like,
Yeah. Well, that's exactly. And you think about the government and what was the bill was exactly equal to the reduction in spending, right?
yeah.
In spending.
Mhm.
So idea being literally equally replace the spending that would have taken place at these businesses that people are now holding or don't have anymore, whatever it may be. There's no way that any private charity or anything like that could possibly raise enough, and even that 700 million that we said, oh, it's all going to the political campaign, and obviously you say it's ridiculous that all that went to that, to Georgia Senate election.
You also got to look where the
It's
money
also
came from.
not surprising at all, and in the grand scheme of things, that 700 million really wouldn't have made that much of a difference countrywide
Now.
in terms of
Yeah.
what the businesses have lost altogether, in every small business, if you can account for it. So the number is just so astronomical that it is tough to kind of do anything from the private sector or from the government sector, but it's definitely a lot easier for them to just cut a check. Like you said, we got to push it down the road, worry about it later, but to equal the spending gap as opposed to everybody. And it's weird because you think about it, and the people are pulling back and spending. They're not going out and spending it, but they'll still donate to a private fund that'll then donate to a business. It's like,
Yeah,
you might as well just go buy some shit, bud.
literally, exactly. Like,
And I'm guilty of it too. I've saved a lot more during the pandemic, just on we're not going to go here, and I don't spend this 30 or 50 or whatever it is bucks, or I'm not going to go here and spend this $100.
I've definitely saved mad money this pandemic.
Yeah, without a doubt, but also having like I guess noticeably or like consciously been like, oh, I gotta save a lot right now because I'm fucking worried or anything about you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. It's not my reason for saving, it's just because I have nothing to do because of this pandemic.
Yeah.
Really.
So it's all very interesting, and
But
hopefully
also,
likely we'll never see the situation
I
again.
saw some stats saying that savings up like 30 savings are up like 30%
Mhm.
in America. Well, I mean, also this is coming from the freaking news. This isn't something I looked into myself. We started looking at the propensity to save versus consume because we could really break that down and find out the real answer because
Yeah.
I don't trust the media. But then they had an article saying that people's and then they had an inflation article right next to it saying how people's savings are going to get eaten alive. So if all these people are taking this cash and just saving it, they're going to get so screwed. So
Mhm.
screwed.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
sad. How
No,
about how
yeah.
about that tweet? Speaking of Michael Berry, about the 2020, we had 530,000 about company bankruptcies, lowest in 35 years during this mass pandemic. We have zombie companies. Zombie. Everyone's a zombie right now. It is wild.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think he's 100% right with what he's saying, that it's actually going to be the most delayed bankruptcies in human history. And that 2021 could be a wild ride. But it might not be 2021, like you said.
Mhm.
If we keep pumping stimulus in,
Yeah.
we're just delaying the inevitable. When the stimulus stops and the Fed backing stops, that's when the merry-go-round stops. And that's when things are going to get real
So the
interesting.
music stops and you better be in a chair or else you're out of the game.
Yeah. Yeah. You better be fighting for it like it's the last chair in musical chairs.
Yeah. And I mean, it's interesting why he always is he's always on the downside or the negatives to
He
anything
sniffs out the
everything.
bullshit.
Yeah, yeah. And that's it. You say it's interesting. I guess that's the reasoning behind it. It has to be. He's just
Yeah.
sniffs out the bullshit.
I mean, like, it's just, I mean, also, you could probably say that the man's probably a pessimistic man. Like,
Oh, there's no doubt about it. I mean,
he
without a
looks
doubt.
at the downside. I mean, the guy was,
I think he's very matter of fact, very kind
and
of
everyone laughed at him.
yeah, I think he's very firm and like he knows what he believes and knows how he thinks that the system should work and everything should work, and he's so fundamental on that if he sees something that's not in line with that, immediately he's like, nope, bullshit, not how it works.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's why he's calling bullshit on this. He knows it's
Yeah,
fugazi. Like,
yeah.
they're
Once
literally
he said that, you
transferring.
better chip it into stone.
Yeah, they're literally transferring wealth from the bottom 50% into the top 1%'s pockets right now.
Yeah, yeah. All right, well, let's get it wrapped up here. I got some things in this afternoon that I gotta get with, and we're gonna be back
Yep.
Friday, so we gotta save some stuff to talk about. So Happy New Year, everybody. Good to see you
Yep.
back with us, and we'll be back Friday. Tune in, like, subscribe, share it with everybody you know. So,
Yep. Hit those
bye,
comments.
goodbye,
Let us know
goodbye.
what you want to see.
Sir.